Hi everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. So I have been exceedingly busy. I've not been home much this week. If you watch me or are on my email list or anything, you know that last week we were at Disney as part of the Stampin' Up! Walt Disney World trip, and the week before that we found out that we got some bad news about my father's health. So most of my days have been spent either at the hospital or now he's at a rehab center. So I think he's going to be moved maybe this weekend, which is Memorial Day weekend. I kind of find it hard to believe that they'll move him on a holiday weekend, but that's the word we have so far. So we've been trying to make plans. He's going to go stay with my sister, I think is the current plan. But he is not in great shape. He needs pretty consistent care. So, I have not been, there hasn't been a single day that I have been home for the entire day. I don't think, maybe today I might be, but it's been a long stretch of days that I have not been home. But I think today I will be. I'm working on the Try It class. My husband and I have been cutting in the evenings. Yesterday I got home. My husband was already home from work when I got home. And I typically don't create in the evenings, especially when I'm emotionally drained and physically drained. But I felt like I just needed to escape for a little bit. So I did create the card that I'm going to show you now. And now it is morning. The Pacers did play last night, so that gave me a little boost of energy because we're huge Pacer fans. It was an overtime game, so it went late. And then it was hard to fall asleep after that. And my dad is also a huge Pacers fan. I was afraid perhaps he didn't stay awake because it looked a little dismal there for a moment. But he did also fall asleep at another game. And you don't sleep on the Pacers, which now he's learned his lesson. He promised me he wouldn't fall asleep on this one. So I'm going to get this filmed, and then I am going to start. I did get things mailed yesterday. I had a large stack of stuff to get mailed, and then I'm going to cut ribbon, I think, because I can do that kind of mindlessly for my Try It class. I have one more club project to do, but we've been cutting paper in the evenings, and then tomorrow night's another Pacer game, and then, you know, it's May in Indiana, which means the Indy 500, which is practically walking distance from our house, is this weekend. So we do have a 500 party that we go to every year. And then my daughter and son-in-law go to the 500. So we have the grandbaby on race day. So that'll be a little bit of a reprieve as well as perhaps moving my dad. So let's get going on the card. Here are a couple of cards in case you've missed them. This uses, I'll see if I can remember the names, the notes and totes, and it is still May. So I have a couple of things in here. But this makes a 3D little tote bag. Very summertime-ish card. This one I put in here because it uses the beautiful gallery. I was kind of hoping this was the suite that I used to create my swaps for Disney, and I was going to do a video to show you how I made the swap, and then when my life kind of fell apart, I only showed you the finished card and then the pieces, and I didn't actually make it, so I no longer have that card. And sometimes when you do an organized swap like that, you get your card back, and which is always kind of a bummer. This year I was kind of hoping I'd get my card back, but I didn't. But it's still May. If you purchase this suite from me, then you get a free online class that will happen sometime in June, perhaps a few days later than was my original intent. Everything's being pushed back a little bit, simply because I'm not home to cut anything. And then our evenings, by the time I get home, we're kind of tired. This is my May card club, which is already on its way of being done. But be watching for June. I will get that posted. I may work on that this afternoon as well. I don't even remember what we're using for May, but for June, but if I get the last project for May done, I may design June so I can get a video of that done early next week. These are just this one I did do. There is a video for that one. This is just a fun card. I didn't mean to put that one in the stack. And then in every month when you purchase $50 from me in product, then you get a tutorial bundle. This is my submission for the May. It's in colors. All cards we're using the new in colors. I do it with I think there's 14. I always forget how many of us there are because sometimes the number switches a little bit, of demonstrators from all around the world, and we all submit a card. So this is May. So if you purchase $50, you can go to my website and see everything that you get as loyalty rewards from me. Today I am going to do the Coneflower celebrations. So before my dad got sick, he was working full-time up until the week after Easter, which should have been our first sign that something was more wrong than he was letting on. We thought he had something minor wrong, but he'd been working full-time. Easter week, on Easter, he told us he was going to quit his job. So I have a lot of new things to show you, and I paid a lot of money to overnight them, and here they've sat. They're all sitting next to me because I wanted to show them to you, and so they're just still sitting in the box. But one of them is Coneflower Celebrations. So it is a super, really sweet little set, and you can see there's 2 ways you can use it. I wanted to show you this. I saw this die, and I thought, well, I don't know what the heck that does. And last night when it was dark and I was tired, I just stamped with this. So you're going to basically see some stamped images. I did know it has a die builder, and I'll show you that. But see, this makes circles, so you can make a background with it. One of the things I especially loved about this set when I looked at it was it has a couple of birthday greetings. So it says, "I'm sorry I missed your special day. Let's extend the celebration." So that's a fun way to do a belated birthday. And then this is the one I've used. I love that I've known you for so many birthdays. I think that's a really sweet way. And then I'm going to use this, but it has a really fun die that makes, oh, my cat was just on the table. Because we were gone for a week, now they're super needy, and because then I leave every day during the day, I come home and they think that they have to be on top of me all the time. So you can stamp it, but you see here you can do a Coneflower builder as well. So you can do it, and you saw in the catalog that they did this multiple times to give it layers of leaves. And then here's the thing that makes circles. You want to do a background, and I'll figure out a fun way to do it. But you know, sometimes when you're tired, you just want to do what you know and love. I also have, I'll just show it to you real quick. I have a couple of things. This is the one that will do the washi tape. So I will get to that. I have the rainbows. This is what I really want to show you. Because here, you know, this is our normal die size. And then check this out. If you are in the Try It class, we are going to use one of the party banners. So I have opened this one because we are using it. But if you've noticed the banner dies that are in the catalog, I'm going to show you. Look at the die case that it's in compared to the normal size. And here are those. So you can see how large the largest one is. They wouldn't fit in a normal size die case because they're larger than a standard card frame. So these are really great, and it's one of those ones you'd keep forever, because if you're hosting any kind of like a birthday party or a baby shower or a wedding shower, a retirement party, graduation party, you can always then make a personalized banner to go along with it. And if you want it to say whatever you want it to say, I haven't even opened this one. I didn't plan on doing this, but you know, that stack of stuff that I got, I also have the set that has the Japanese. It's beautiful, but I did use it like the pottery. It's mostly downstairs because I've used some of this stuff because it's in the Try It. I haven't even opened these, but these are the letters. So you can see you put whatever saying you want on your banners or on cards. I almost did a USA one for Memorial Day, but I really wanted to color that flower. And this was going to take more brain power because I hadn't opened them. So like I said, I went with something that I know and love. I've been stamping flowers for a very long time, and not so much the banners that are giant. So let's do this. So because it's going to make a card on card, here is the Coneflower, and you can see it makes a little card that will pop up. So I am going to go ahead and die cut this first. And then these are the leaves that would go if you were going to do the builder, but I'm going to use them also for highlights. So let me run these 2 pieces through my cut and emboss machine. So So here is the flower, and you can see it will fold in half to make the little card on card top. And then I have a pecan base because it doesn't need to be a full card size, a full opening card. You could if you wanted to, but I'm going to put my sentiment in there, and then you can sign in the inside. And then this is cut 4 by 5 1/4. Grab a piece of scrap paper here. So because this is photopolymer, I'm going to do it this way because I cut this piece of paper. I'll show you why. The other time I did this first, but then I realized if I was a little bit too far up, this was going to get knocked off the back. So I'm going to stamp it in Memento. I want to make sure I get it nice and dark. And I have multiple Memento pads on my table. And I'm not sure which is the most freshly inked one because, you know, I went away. And then, literally I have 3. I don't think this is the one I used yesterday. Actually, I have 4 of them sitting here because I cleaned up before I left. That looks a little bit, maybe a little bit better. And I would tell you that there's 2 sides to every paper. But if I do 2 sides to this one, you won't be able to side the inside. Yeah, this one's better. And since it's photopolymer, I can just line it up exactly where I want it to go. And then make sure you give it a good push. It would be better if I had my foam pad. I meant to get it before I filmed. But I'll just press. When it's a large stamp like this, you can press everywhere. If it's a small one and you do this, then there's a danger that you'll rock it. Perfect. So we have this. Pop that over there. Then we will, you want to start with the words that are going to be on the front because I'm going to add the stems and the leaves, but obviously you don't want the words to be covered up. So this is the one that says, I love that I've known you for so many birthdays. So I'll add it down here. And then this one says, it's your day. So here's our little card on card front. Pop that here. You're sure you turned that the right way, yeah. And then I want to be able to write your name here. So I'm just going to have this up here. So then when this is on the card and you open it, that will be up there. And let's grab our stem. Leaves. And since I put my words on first, now I can control where my leaves are going to go. And then I'll just add those gold ones over the top. So now to color it, there is a little bit more stamping I'm going to do, but I'm going to emboss it because I wanted the gold on here, some gold embossing to kind of pull in the gold leaves. And remember I said I wanted it, I was going to do something that felt relaxing and easy and just quick to do. So I went for my watercolor pencils, but I'm not going to use any water. I'm just going to color. So I'll real quick show you what I'm going to do. I have my garden green. And I am literally just going, well, that's going to have to be sharpened. I just did sharpen them, but apparently I broke it when I sharpened. I'm just going to color that all garden green, and then I'm going to take my white and just go around the edges, not all of it, just a little bit. So some of those will kind of pop off the page, just like that. And I'll do that for all of the leaves. And then over here, I'm going to start with some white and just add some in some of the tips. I don't want the leaves aren't going to be white, but this will kind of just brighten it up. So I'll just do 1 petal. And then if you go to Instagram, I'll do and it'll show up on Facebook eventually. I can't promise when. I have thought that perhaps all these days of waiting at the rehab, but they keep Dad busy, and there's therapists and doctors and nurses in all the time. So he's busy, which means I'm busy, so there's no time to sit there and edit. There's no place in his tiny little room, not even a plug for my laptop, because I thought, well, maybe I can get some work done. There's no working. And he needs entertainment. So this is my Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to go back in and add just some highlights of orange. Not much, but just a little bit. And then I have espresso. Oh, well, I broke that one too. That's what I get for sharpening in a hurry. And then I'm going to do the inside of this in pecan, and I'll sweep around with the espresso. So let me color these in, and then I'll fast forward that bit. I'm going to sharpen these first. All right, so I've colored these all in. You can see I've added the highlights of white. I think the white pencil on the craft colored cardstock really helps it pop. So we've got this, and then I will fold this over, and it's going to go on here. And then I will be able to, oh, my bone folder is downstairs. No, it's not. It is. I know where it is, and every time I go to make something, I'm like, oh, my bone folder is, it's over where I made my swaps. And there's more than one because I needed help. So on Mother's Day, or the day before Mother's Day, I had my family help me. It was part of my request, because how are they going to say no when you're celebrating Mother's Day, right? So I'm not going to put this on yet. And you can see I'm going to add the gold leaves just over the top. So it was my original idea, and then I wanted to add some gold thread, and this one's a hot mess. This is on Last Chance, but it's still available. And then I wanted to add the gold loose sequins. But I thought it needed just a little bit more gold to kind of tie it in, and there is a splatter stamp in the set. I love splatter stamps. So let's take these off, and I'm just going to add a few of them with some gold embossing. You could also do it if you don't have gold embossing. You could just do some black or even some brown or green splatters around. Just keep it minimal. You don't want a lot. So I'm just going to kind of barely touch it on here, and then not press all the way. So every time you don't have to get all of the dots. I don't care if they're on my leaves. I don't want them on the words, because I don't want to make the words hard to read. I don't want a big old gold splat right where somebody's like, oh, what does that say? And you want to make sure when you use the splatter things that you kind of turn them around. I also thought about adding some black splatters, because I think that would be pretty. But here's where I was last night. If I added black splatters, that meant that I was going to have black on here, and I was too lazy to get up and go get my cleaning stuff, because then it would have had black on it, and I couldn't have used my Versamark pad. So, you know, if you ever stamp like that and laziness plays into your design, that's okay, I understand. So I have the gold embossing powder, and I was also too lazy to get my embossing additions tray, so we're just going to go old school and use some scrap paper. The nice thing is there's nothing on here that stayed wet. So sometimes if you have regular ink, or you've colored with Ink of Stella or something wet, even if I had used the blender pen to smear around my watercolor pencil, I might have to wait a second for that to dry. But because I just went straight up pencil, and it's been a minute since the memento stamped on there, there's no need for that. So let me heat set this with my heat tool. Okay, isn't that pretty? So now we can add this on here. Just do it with some adhesive. You can see how when you flip it open, we'll have the and then I'm just going to kind of attach these on for now with a little bit of seal. I am going to use some glue when I put the embellishments on. Then I want to add some of my thread. It came off the spool like this. It's annoying. But I don't want it to go over the words. And I don't really want it to go over the top of the leaves. So what I did was I added the adhesive back here that's going to stick it to my pecan piece. So it's all ready. Now where'd that end go? And then I just kind of held it here till I kind of liked where it was going, and I aimed for the tips a little bit of the leaves, the points where they were touching. Get that one there. Make sure you have your scissors ready. And you can see it's a little loose. I'm going to tighten it up once I know where I want it to, or how long it needs to be. I'm going to do 2 pieces. Let's do the other one so it gets the tip of this one. I'm gonna go right here. And I'm gonna fix it so if it doesn't hit exactly, or it ends up being loose too because of it sticking to your hand. So let's get this out of the way. It doesn't have to be perfect, irregardless, but it most certainly doesn't have to be perfect the first time because it's just sealed back there so you can pull it up. So this one's a little bit better. You don't want it to be. You can see that top one has moved itself, and now this one is over the top of my words, so I just want to kind of move it up. This is this one. Pulled the wrong one. It's like the Kerplunk game from when we were kids. Got that one. And I like the way this one looks. I don't like that it's right over the words. So I'm just going to pull it up a little bit, just like this. Grab my pecan piece, and then when I sandwich it on there, hopefully it. Yep, I grabbed it just so it wasn't touching. Now I'm gonna get my sequins. Now a little tip for this: it helps so much when you put the sequins on to have the picker upper tip for the take your pick tool, because it's so much easier to have this tip than to try to pick these all up. Grab my fine tip glue. And let's just add some. So 1, I always count 2, 3. I'm going to put 1 here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The reason I count is so after I'm done, I don't have a bit of glue on my card that isn't accounted for. There's different sizes in here. The tiny ones I have found sneak all the way to the bottom. So 1, when I get the big ones, I'm going to stick them on here, and that's going to help hold that bit of glue in the sequin. Will hold the leaf on. 2, 3, there's a little one. 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm trying not to get 2 at a time. 8. We have 1 more glue thing. I think it's at the top. It can be a big one. I think that's a medium one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want to do an odd number. Get all my lids back on. Gotta get that lid on in case my cats jump up here. More than once they have hopped up on the table when I've opened sequins and they fly everywhere. Isn't that a pretty card? After I was done, I thought I should have done it maybe in the pinks. This has, I'm not sure what, I think coneflowers come in all colors, don't they? Oh, there was one other thing I did. I popped this open. And then I just kind of traced around part of it, not all of it. But you'll see this kind of helps, gives it the little pop of depth to it as well. I forgot all about that. But this maybe, I think, made it look a little sunflower-ish. Maybe it's just the color combination. These are my colors. And I really wanted to do the white with the craft. But I think you could probably do the white and craft. And I could have done it in a pink and a yellow. Like I said, I was falling back onto comfort. So these are comfort colors. This one's a little higher up, so you can see the white ends up being up there. This one I stamped a little bit lower, but this one I stamped first and then did the die. And my leaves are in a little bit of a different spot. It just kind of depends on how you stamped them. But I love, look how pretty the little gold looks on the leaves. Super pretty. Super fun stamp set. I can't wait to use it with the dies. So much stuff on my table. So there you go. I still do have May specials. I feel like because it's Memorial Day weekend, the month should almost be over, but I know there's several more days to the month because sometimes the race is like the very last day of May. But I think I haven't even looked at the calendar. I haven't looked at the calendar since we've been home. But I do have the May things. So I have the May class, and then I will get June card club up sometime, hopefully middle of next week. So have a great one, everybody. Bye.